Deep in the heart of the Gobi Desert lies a monster, algoi khorkhoi, also known as the Mongolian death worm. Real life, miniature versions of monsters like Sarlacc and the sandworms from Dune may very well exist. It's never been photographed, the only evidence of it being whispers passed down through generations and scarce sightings by locals. It's said to be able to kill in several fearsome ways, including spitting a stream of corrosive venom that is instantly lethal to anything it comes into contact with, and electrocuting prey from a distance. Locals accounted that it resembles an intestine filled with blood. It travels underneath the sand, only servicing to prey on camels, horses, and even humans. In 1926, American explorer Roy Chapman Andrews met with the Mongolian Minister of Foreign Affairs to finalize details of an archaeological expedition when the topic of the death worm came to relevance. The premier asked that, if it were possible, I should capture for the Mongolian government a specimen of the algoi khorkhoi. I doubt whether any of my scientific readers can identify this animal. I could, because I had heard of it often. None of those present had ever seen the creature, but they all firmly believed in its existence and described it minutely. It is shaped like a sausage about 2 feet long, has no head nor legs, and is so poisonous that merely to touch it means instant death. It lives in the most desolate parts of the Gobi Desert, whither we were going. To the Mongols it seemed to be what the dragon is to the Chinese. The premier said that, although he had never seen it himself, he knew a man who had, and had lived to tell the tale. Then, a cabinet minister stated that the cousin of his late wife's sister had also seen it. I promised to produce the algoi khorkhoi if we chanced to cross its path, and explained how it could be seized by means of long steel collecting forceps. Moreover, I could wear dark glasses so that the disastrous effects of even looking at so poisonous a creature would be neutralized. After the 1926 expedition, the communist regime in Mongolia banned further searches by members of the public, deeming it a fairy tale. No further formal attempts at locating the creature were undergone until the 1990s. Enter Ivan Makurl, a Czech cryptozoologist and adventurer whose interest in the death worm was sparked by a short horror story written by Soviet paleontologist Ivan Efremov and a conversation with a young Mongolian university student who believed in the worm. In 1990, Makurl led a team of 3 in an 8-week expedition into the Gobi Desert. During his search, he was warned at a Buddhist monastery that the worm was a creature of supernatural evil and that he was endangering his life searching for it. Shepherds refused to speak with him about the beast, holding the belief that even uttering its name would bring terror to their pastures. Makurl recalls having a vivid dream about the worm one night and waking up with unexplained blood-filled boils on his back.
Stalo se to naprosto nečekaně. Náhle se mi zjevila vidina toho hrozného červa, jak vyskočil z písku, přilepil se mi na záda jako hnusná pijavice. Byla to samozřejmě jenom halucinace, ale já jsem současně ucítil strašnou bolest. Na zádech mi naběhla jakási podlouhlá boule a po celém těle se objevily krvavé podličiny. To už halucinace nebyla. To byla bohužel skutečnost. Vůbec jsem nevěděl, co to je a jak jsem k tomu přišel.
After they set off into the heartland of the desert, where the worm was said to have been sighted, they attempted to draw it out onto the surface via rhythmic thumping, using a machine that would pound the sand at random intervals. They scanned the dunes using a camera attached to an ultralight plane for signs of the algoi khorkhoi, but in the end, they were ultimately unsuccessful. Further forays into the vast desert were made in 2005 and 2007, but both turned up empty-handed. It would be easy to dismiss the existence of the worm at this point as nothing more than a story, but the numerous independent accounts from locals bring doubt. The Gobi Desert is vast, spanning over 500,000 square miles and sparsely populated. It's as good of a place as any for a creature to go undocumented. Other theories have stated that it's simply a common snake, which on the surface does make sense. The serpent-like aspect of the creature, as well as its supposed venom, would support that theory, but it is more than likely wrong, as the head has always been said to be indistinct by everyone who has claimed to see this creature. It's also been suggested that it could be a sand boa. Their tail is extremely short and rounded. Their head is rather pointed and indistinct from the body, so the head and tail could possibly be confused at a distance. These snakes are short and thick, their size corresponds to that of the algoi khorkhoi, and this species is already known to be native to Mongolia. Additionally, they're known to inhabit the desert and burrow in the sand. It very well could be a possibility, but it should be noted that those who had encounters never compared the creature to a snake, which were abound in the regions where sightings had been reported. One of the world's last undiscovered animals, or a simple folk tale? The world may never know.